Welcome to the CrossAxe Method, the podcast developed for our members and community to help drive your performance and health to new levels. As a CrossFit certified trainer, firefighter, and affiliate owner for the better part of a decade, I draw on my knowledge and experience, and more importantly that of many professionals in the industry, to provide world-class information to our members and community. We look forward to helping you achieve optimal health and performance while having some fun conversations along the way.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the CrossAxe Method podcasts. We are up to episode 42 and kicking off with what we hope will be a weekly conversation again. We're really sorry that we lost touch with these podcasts for a little while there. We were a little bit preoccupied with the Open, among other things, but we're back. And I'm sitting here with Rob. Hey Rob.
G'day.
How are you?
Good. We're consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, that's right. That's okay.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're back.
We're back. All right. So we've got a few things to cover in today's podcast, just to serve as a bit of an update to all of you guys. And we are going to kick off with probably the most juiciest conversation of all of those topics, being the Open season. We're in it. We've done it. Some people are still in it.
Yep.
So we were attempting a pre-Open podcast, which unfortunately we didn't get to. So this is now a post-Open podcast to reflect on what just happened, where we're at now, what's it mean for some athletes who are still in it. Just talk to us about that maybe for first.
Yeah, okay, so I think a lot of the members and athletes aren't really sure about what the Open actually is, especially if they've only come into CrossFit within the last 12 months or maybe even 24 months because it wasn't so great the year before with all the changes. But so essentially, it used to be 5 weeks. This year was 3 weeks. We all went through one workout a week, logged those scores online. We have them judged in here on a Friday night, and then from there the next stage is, I guess, is where everyone gets a little bit kind of like confused and unsure as to what's going on. Yeah. So I'll do my best to make it clear.
Perfect.
So with the Open age, now I'll refer to the Open age as basically all the competitive young people. So anyone up to the age of 35 and over the age of 18.
Yeah.
All right. So these should be the people that are vying for the title of the fittest man and woman on earth or team. So that gets broken up into continents.
Yep.
So you needed to finish within the top 10% of the continent. Ours is Oceania. Mm-hmm. And then that allowed you to go forward and do another online qualifier called the quarterfinals. Mm-hmm. And then out of those quarterfinals, the top 30 men, women, progress through to the semi-finals, which is the Torium Pro.
Gotcha.
Then we have what we call the age group online qualifiers. So that's for all of our teens and all of our masters athletes.
Yeah.
So all of those people, they needed to finish top 10% in the world. So once you're in the teens or the masters division, it doesn't matter what continent you're on, it's a world scale.
Yep. So
those guys who finish in the top 10% are yet to do their quarterfinal tests. They're on the weekend of the 6th of May, around that time. And then when they do their online qualifier, the top 20 men and women go to the CrossFit Games. There's no semi-finals. Mm-hmm. It's just straight from that online qualifier to the Games. There is divisions at Torium Pro for Masters, but that has no bearing on the actual CrossFit Games season. That's just like a normal competition that a local gym would hold on any weekend. Right. So it's just a exhibition essentially.
Okay.
And then we have teams, and all the athletes that competed in the Open. We just entered one team in the Open, so basically we put everyone on the same team so everyone could contribute. And our team finished 33rd, so we were in the top 50. So we got an invite to the quarterfinals. And we just completed all of those workouts last weekend. A lot of you guys would have seen us doing them while you were doing Bodhi's Battle, and we did some on Friday as well. And unfortunately, we finished 22nd, and you need to be in the top 20 to get
So
to the
close.
elite division. So we were just outside, but super stoked with how we went. That's
Yep.
22nd in Australia, so in Oceania. So that's that was really cool and really
It's
fun.
awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of where we're at with like what was the Open, how you progress, and I guess there's also a little bit of confusion because a lot of the Masters athletes also made the top 10% of the Open age division, so they might have been doing extra online qualifiers, and people are like, "Oh, was that Masters or was that the?" You know, so
Yeah.
only the Open age group one's been done.
Yep.
And then from there, and the teams, and then we've still got the Masters to go. That's kind of where we're sitting at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And training for the Torian Pro, which is, when is that held?
I think it's the 28th-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, so we still have a team going to the Torian Pro, but it's not in the elite division. It's in the next division down.
Yep.
The top 10 Masters in all age groups in in Oceania, got an invite to compete as a Masters athlete at the Torian Pro as well.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I'm thinking about doing that.
Yep.
Well, I'm registered to do it, so I'm
Yep.
committed to do it if we don't chuck another team in somewhere.
All
but
right.
yeah, we'll see
And
how
I
that pans out.
believe spectators are able to buy tickets to the Torian Pro. Is that
Absolutely,
right? So
yeah, it's
if you
a
guys want to
massive
get amongst
event.
it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive event. So just Google Torian Pro or something, and
Yeah.
you'll be able to buy tickets. And it's a pretty big event. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
It'll be
quite
cool.
inspiring actually to watch
Yeah,
that
for
sort
sure.
of thing. Yeah. It always makes me come back to my own training.
Yeah,
Think about things a little bit differently. Awesome.
Yeah, it's-
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the setup for the Open, and that's what it is. And
Yep.
then, so I guess what we should say as well is the top 3 men, women, and teams from the Torian Pro
Yep.
in the Open age and the elite teams division go to the CrossFit Games
Yep.
in America. That's and then that's to find the fittest on
Yep.
Earth, essentially.
Yeah, so it's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome that it's so local to us too, being over at
amazing.
Torian.
It's the only one in the in this continent. So it'll be
Yeah.
held at Tennis Centre.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. I think that serves as a pretty good recap to anybody who was feeling a little bit confused with the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to help our athletes through the next Open season,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a bit of a conversation that we can touch on there in terms of our new competitors program.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like a
yep.
comp squad.
Yes.
So do you want to chat about that a little bit now? What it
Sure.
is, what it means for anyone who has expressed their interest, that you probably are still taking expressions of interest potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And what it means for members who aren't going to be a part of that.
Cool. So let's do what it's going to mean for members that aren't going to be a part of that.
Cool.
Nothing.
Great.
So it's the easy one. There'll be no change essentially. So it's just business as usual.
Yep,
So
neat.
don't freak out. There's no changes to everything. Programming will stay similar to what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
So don't stress. It's not going to
Yep.
take away classes or change anything we're currently doing, because what we're doing is working pretty well.
Awesome.
Yeah. What it will change if you are a part of it is essentially what we're trying to do is, and we've tried it before many years ago. So a long time ago, we had a competitors program, but we probably weren't in the best position to pull it off
Yep.
in terms of the way we wanted to. So, it kind of created some division, and there was this bit of eliteness. People thought that they were better than other people by being part of the program, and then along with that, even the sort of structure for it wasn't there. We didn't really have the resources we needed to control it how we wanted to control it and get the best out of the athletes. It was a bit of an ego thing that just didn't turn out great.
Yep.
So it's always been on our mind. Now, the hard thing is athletes that are being competitive in the sport demand a lot of attention, but it's not a big group of people. It's not our foundational business. We're here, we want to really help most people be healthy and fit. That's our goal, right?
Yeah.
To prevent anyone from being limited by their fitness in terms of life.
Yeah.
Right? So we longevity and have people moving well and being really healthy. So when we delve attention or time into, say, a competitors program, we need to make sure we've got the resources to run that, so it's not going to degrade the service that we actually care about most. But more and more people are wanting that competitive outlet. So, being able to push themselves a little bit harder, do better in the open, do local competitions, maybe make the CrossFit Games. It just depends on what level you're at. That's always going to be done best in a group environment where there's a lot more focus and a lot more attention. So we're trying to almost create like a team environment for those guys, where we have a dedicated training session once a week just for them. And that will involve some strategies to work around things like how to approach certain workouts when you might be training on your own, like how to approach these extras, how to find what areas you're weak in and focus on those while not losing out on our capacity in other areas. We're also, with the programming on that, we can then start cycling it more around traditional strength and conditioning program for a seasonal sport than we do for what we call GPP in the class. Most people in the classes, even if they want to do well in the open, they'll generally do pretty well in the open with our traditional programming. But we want to make sure that they do well at life in June, July, August, November, October, December, January, February, March, April, May, all of the months, not just February or not just March or not just in the quarterfinals in May. That's a little bit different when it comes to the competition program. If our athletes in the competition program aren't at their maximum capacity in August, unless they're at the CrossFit Games, let's say November, it doesn't matter. We don't care if they're not aerobically conditioned at their highest point in November, because we need that to happen in February, March when the Open's on.
Yep.
So we can cycle the season a little bit better. We can give them a period in time where they're focusing on building the strength they need for their level of competition and working on the skills that they need for their level of competition and focusing on that more, possibly at the expense for being fit now, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then in addition to that, we're increasing the focus on their nutrition, the accountability on that, and also their sleep and their mindset as well on how they're training. So they'll do an in-body scan as part of the program, maybe monthly or 6 weekly. We haven't really nutted those finer details out yet. And it'll be a smaller group. By no means does it mean that it's only for the elite people or the perceived elite fitness people. It's for everyone. If you want to be a competitor, you can jump on board with that. The only really caveat is I'd say you probably need a year or 18 months, depending on your current training age, of fitness and training behind you before you can go into that. So when we're looking at things like kipping pull-ups or options for kipping pull-ups, we basically need you to have the strength probably to do some strict pull-ups. We can't probably just take you from a level of where we're doing ring rows and then progress you from there, because you've still got, if that's where you're at, that's totally cool, but you've still got lots of area to improve that can be done simply through the classes.
Yes.
Now, the athletes in the competitors program will still do the classes as well. That'll form the main part of the conditioning for their day as well as everyone else's, so that won't be a big change. There might be some structural change to the classes for them, but not for everyone else. So, and what I mean by that is they might have a heavier weight, they might have a more complex gymnastics movement, and that's not to say that other people in the class that aren't doing the comp training can't do that if they want to. That's fine, but the demand will be there on those guys. So it will be like, that's where we should be at for XYZ level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And how many have shown interest so far? I
think we have about 12 at the moment that are committed to it. It's going to kick off hopefully on the 1st of June.
Yep.
That's our goal. And they'll have some, there'll be a lot more focus and demand on those guys in terms of recording their workouts and
Yep.
tracking their scores and testing where they're at and all that sort of stuff. And some of that will filter through to the classes as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it just kind of takes it up a notch with how serious they are in their approach to their training, which is really neat.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's just the next level of commitment, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're keen to hear feedback from anybody. If anyone has any comments or questions about that, we've sent a couple of emails out about it, but based on this podcast, if you're listening in and you have questions, then please reach out to myself or Rob. That'd be good.
Yeah, that competitive environment's going to be really helpful for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to compete, and that's fine. That's cool. I guess one of the big things I want to sort of just reinforce is that, most of you guys probably know me well enough to know this anyway, I really hate arrogance and egotistical behaviour. So, and I really don't hold... I'm not like a fanboy, right? So I don't hold people that are exceptional at fitness in a higher regard than anyone else.
Yeah.
I respect that it's amazing. Like Matt Fraser, Tia, exceptional. That's really cool what they're doing, and they are inspiring a lot of people. But they're no more important than the doctor that's going to work every day doing heart surgery, or the nurses, or anyone.
Yeah.
Military. No matter what you do, right? You're not just better than someone else because you're fitter.
Yeah.
So I just want to really reinforce that for the people that are in the program and the people that aren't. It's not like an egotistical thing. It's just that people want different things from the training. Some
That's
people
right.
want to compete. So this is that avenue for them.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to compete, and that's just as cool in our eyes, and we really want to see you reach your goals and be healthy and fit for family or life or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Cool.
Okay. Awesome. So I suppose a segue into from that conversation would be into the goals survey that you sent out, and our approach to responding to people who have asked and requested for a little bit of help or a conversation on where they're at. So I guess we just want to acknowledge the fact that we have gotten everybody's responses in from that survey, and thank you so much for that. And over the next week or two, I'll be reaching out to those guys. We've got some really cool packages now, and we just really want to touch base on where you're at and what your goals are, and whether there's anything more that we can be offering you with our time. So
I mean, that's one of those things that resources dictate our ability to follow up with people. And ever since I've had the gym, it's like, how do we touch base with people individually, and make sure they're feeling okay and they're on track, and we can give them any advice that they need to sort of keep going, or a bit of direction, or if they do want help outside of the classes, and it's like, hey, I'd really like to... we had a response to one of our surveys where we had 50-odd people that wanted to do some personal training, but we just had no one to do it.
That's right.
My hours are full. Everyone's sort of at their capacity, but now we've got the coaches on board that we think can handle certain things or most things, essentially, and really help the members progress through. And whether that's just a 15-minute catch-up and they just need a check-in and a bit of direction, and we just say, hey, have you thought about trying this? Do this with your workouts. Let's try and in the next 12 weeks, let's try and attend X amount of sessions.
Mm-hmm.
That might be all it is.
Yeah.
Just that little check-in, that little make sure people are doing okay.
Yep.
Or like I said, if people need more help again, and they're like, yeah, look, I really need some assistance here, then we can hopefully provide that too.
Yeah, we've got quite a good little team right now. We've got a few more coaching or coaches joining our team, so we might even touch on that, welcoming Tanae and Jose.
Yeah.
So Tanae, you all know her. She's our new bright little sparkly thing that will help coach mornings and afternoons. So we'll probably do a podcast just with Tanae on like what we have done in the past with welcoming new team members. So Tanae's joining the team, and Jose over at Carina. Some of you will know Jose from here, some won't.
He'll do a little bit here as well. He'll be a bit of a roustabout for us. You would have heard him on the podcast a while back as well.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Cool. So couple more things to cover. Semper, it's happening.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on. We missed a year. That's all right. So it is penciled in for, well, actually, it's not penciled, it's confirmed.
It's in there now, yeah.
It's in there for 17th of July.
Yep.
And we've got a bit of a new approach, which we won't go into too much now, but just so you guys know, we're wanting to make it as exciting as possible.
Yeah, it should be really cool. More information will come to hand as we get media and stuff out on it.
Yeah.
Basically, excuse me, same-sex pairs, and there'll be RX intermediate and essentially a beginner's level, and get your partners ready.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to compete, also we're going to need 60 judges at a minimum.
Yeah.
So if you want to get involved, that'll be really cool. We're really hoping to get some great sponsors on board to look after the judges with some stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we really the success of the event with the format that we've got really relies on having a good solid team of judges.
Yeah. So at this point, it's just saving the date, nothing else to action just yet, but more information will come out. We'll release that as soon as we can. 17th of July, though, and also on Instagram, you can follow the Semper Paratus Challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instagram's
Can't wait.
the point of call for that one.
Yeah, neat.
If you're not on Instagram, I'm sorry.
Are you?
No, if you're not, I'm like, I can't help you.
Yes, fair enough.
Sorry.
All right. Fitbox. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So I guess we just want to have a quick chat about the fact that we acknowledge it hasn't really been operating as we may have thought it would be at this point.
Yeah.
And it's still under, what do you call it? They're building it. Yeah, construction's a word. Yeah, they're still working on it, still building it. We caught up with Jean from Again Faster and Jess just the other day. So do you want to maybe chat a little bit about that, where we're at with that?
Sure. Look, obviously I'm not a IT guru, but I had a bit of trouble just getting the phone to record this. But in saying that, yeah, definitely, we kind of thought it might have been a bit further ahead in its development than what it is. But Gene and his team have reassured us that they're committed to getting the product that we need together. And it does heavily rely on our feedback to build it. We, from what I assume, are the biggest gym business using it. So we are coming up against a lot of issues that smaller gyms or affiliates just aren't coming up against, essentially. So, so they're working on it. One thing we will ask you to do, basically as of now, is start entering your scores and then start sending us feedback on issues with entering your scores. And we're trying to get the leaderboard developed to a much better sort of system than what it's currently at.
Yeah. But we need more scores and more data in there just to capture over a little bit more time than what we have been using it for, just so that they can make sure they're working on the right thing for us.
Yeah. So log your scores, people.
Yeah.
I did mine today. It's in there.
Good on you. What'd you get?
Not telling you till you do the workout.
That's fair enough. Awesome. Okay. Is there anything else you want to touch on just with the competitive program or the Open?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it was really good to see everyone doing the Open. I loved the 3-week format, which was super cool, especially from an affiliate owner's point of view. It gets bloody demanding, that 5 weeks that they used to have. In saying that, I feel like I've been doing the same competition for 6 months now, between all the quarterfinals and the teams and the Masters one that's still yet to come. For most people, it's good because it's a shorter 3-week period, not as much stress. It's over a longer time, over a shorter time frame. So good from our perspective in terms of we're not getting bogged down for 5 weeks with the Open where nothing else is happening with our business. Mm-hmm. And however, for the small percentage of people that do kind of filter through to these other divisions, it's I feel like it might be dragging on a little bit. Although I've probably done the ones I don't need to do as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Gotcha. Cool.
Feels like it's shorter in one spot, but it does also feel like it's been going for quite a while now.
And you did have some of the workouts that you guys had to do as a team and as an individual.
Yeah, the workouts were the same.
That's
so
right.
the individual open age group one that we did at the first weekend after the open, and then we had the same workouts again for the team. So hopefully they change it up for the Masters, which I envisage that they will.
Yeah, got
Yep.
you. Awesome. Just another quick call out on my side is yoga. I will be posting a little poll soon, but we just want to talk about what's working and what's not working with the class time. We are stoked on Janetta. Thank you so much for being our amazing yoga instructor. We just need to look at the best time that suits all of you guys to make sure that we can give you the space that you need without too much noise or distraction. So I will get a poll out there, but we're thinking of possibly doing it outside of a class time. So this might look like a Saturday morning at 5 a.m. or a Saturday morning at 11 a.m. or even midweek after our classes at 7:15 p.m. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm going to get a poll out and then we'll just go with majority and we'll figure out a plan there, plan of attack.
Cool. Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Yeah, sweet. I think we're done.
Yeah, I think that's about it. We'll
Yeah.
try and get a little bit more consistency back with the podcast.
Yeah.
Attempting to maybe put it up on YouTube. We'll see how the video turns out that I set up today.
Yeah.
And yeah, if as always, actually we should touch on, I know I put some questions out on Instagram a while back in terms of what to talk about on the podcast. I'm just blanking a little bit. I know Tommy sent us out one about wanting to see the entire week of programming in advance, which is not really a big problem at all, to be honest. So long as we are having people that aren't cherry picking workouts, which does become a bit of an issue, even though you might think this day and age that people wouldn't really do that. Unfortunately, it does happen. Mm-hmm. So we really want that the thing with cherry picking workouts or picking the workouts that you only want to do. We're not testing ourselves, or we're not increasing our fitness as best we can and exposing ourselves to the areas in which we can get most improvement. And that's generally the ones we don't like because we're not really good at them. And then if we keep avoiding them, we never ever get good at them. So that's one thing that we kind of think about with that.
Yep.
But I do understand it helps athletes to plan their week. If it makes you feel any better, like I write it all, and I still forget until that day what I'm doing. But that's just me. I kind of just let it go and do what's needed to be done. But I understand the desire for that.
Cool.
So yeah, well, I can't remember any of the others. I know there was some other questions shot through. I'll have to dig them out.
Yeah, we'll
Apologies.
review them.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
But as always, reach out. Let us know what your thoughts are and if you want us to chat about something.
Or if you have anything you want to chat about, you can jump on a podcast if you're out there.
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right.
Cool.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Leah.
We'll chat next week,
All
hopefully.
right. Yeah, we'll get it sorted.